All right, welcome back to another episode of Kinchy Rednecks, and we're in front of a computer monitor at the moment because we're going to react to something.
Ooh, reactions.
Now, what we're reacting to is not random videos off the internet, but it's actually videos from our own dash cam. So I've mentioned before that traffic in Korea can be a bit
Interesting.
sketch. So I've grabbed a few award winners that we've seen in person off of the dash cam in our car. Now, I would like to point out that anybody who lives in a decently sized metropolitan area, if you've lived in Atlanta, DC, New York, LA, Houston, any decently sized city, you're going to have seen some of these things happen.
Well, some of them.
Some of them. The fact that they happen isn't the point. It's the complete nonchalance with which it happens. Whereas most Americans would be, oh my God, you're going to kill people. Koreans are like, meh, it's Tuesday. So, we're going to bring up a few things. We will kind of announce them and explain what's going on as we go along. But first up, this is probably actually the least, what would you call it? The least outrageous of the clips that we have here. Let's pull this up. All right, so this is outside of one of our favorite restaurants around here. And if you can see, hopefully my mouse is being captured, this car right here.
The car that's basically with the lights, the blinking lights on.
With his flashers on.
In front of Puffin.
You know, he's just sitting there. Now, what's not entirely visible from this angle where we're standing is that he's parked in the middle of a four-way intersection. He literally just parked in the middle of the intersection, put on his blinkers, or as some people around here call it, the I'll park anywhere I want lights, and ran into the restaurant to pick up his food.
We don't know which restaurant. It could be Omoya. It could be
Puffin.
It could be Aragon Mandu. It could be a number of different locations. You have no idea where he is.
Could be anything in that intersection. But that's completely, I'm not necessarily going to say normal, but it's not abnormal. You see it all the time.
I mean, to be fair,
parking in the middle of a four-way intersection is special.
You don't even know. He could technically actually be going in to eat at a restaurant and like sitting down to eat. We don't know. We just assume that he's picking up, he or she.
Anyway, let me pull up my other file. Okay, so now I've got my other file pulled up here. These are several that I've actually clipped together and edited to get rid of the...
These actually came from the dash cam.
Yeah, these came from the dash cam. And I clipped out stuff that we didn't need or zoomed in on the part that I wanted to show, so I even put titles in.
Woo!
I'm calling this section In the Road. So, as we pull up here, it's the intersection near our house. This will actually probably be in a couple of the videos. We're going to pull up and we're going to turn left here. And guess what we randomly encounter?
Look, Ajima got to do what Ajima got to do. It is time to get the cardboard where they got to go.
A common thing that you see in Korea is little older people, your Ajima, your Adashis, you know, they're don't have, I guess, regular jobs. They're looking for something to do.
Or this could actually just be some extra income for them.
It could be an odd job. They go around, they collect cardboard and other stuff for recycling. Mm-hmm. I mean, nothing against it, but they kind of not walking the street.
They also use the street like they're in an actual vehicle versus the fact that they're actually pulling behind them an actual cart, like just walking and pulling.
And as you can see here, let me see if I can scratch this back a little bit. I'm making a turn. There was a car there or something, I think, wasn't there? I can't see it from the thing at the moment. I turned around and...
Yeah, there's a car right
there. So there's a car right there. You can see the shadow. I literally could not see her until this point. If she'd have been a little further up or a little further in the road, well, lodging with street pizza. Well, that's a lot of paperwork.
Hopefully not. Hopefully she could see you.
Hopefully. Anyway.
She did clear relatively quickly, though, so I'm not going to give her too much grief on it.
So, street parking. To be fair, no matter where you go, okay, well, just about no matter where you go, you will see places where people park in the street. Not every place has a parking lot dedicated with parking. Some of it you just pull up on the side of the street. It's how they pull up on the side of the street. So sometimes, I believe this guy was actually still driving, but sometimes this guy is parked. He can't fit into that spot.
But if you also see, though, you've got one parked this way and others
Yeah,
parked other
There's
way.
a car parked this way. There's a car parked this way. This dude's trying to get around this car. This guy's double parked, I think, or he's just pulled out of something. This car is trying to drive around him. There's the flashers. Flashers. Flashers have meaning in Korean driving. I did not know this initially when I came to Korea. So in America, if you do something stupid, you cut somebody off, you either kind of look behind you and give them the wave, or you stick your hand out and you're like, yeah, sorry, I'm an idiot. In Korea, you turn your flashers on. If you cut somebody off, or if you just kind of cut in front of them a little closely, you turn the blinkers on, you let it blink like 3 times, you turn it off. That lets them know, yes, I saw you, sorry, I cut in front of you. It's a thing. People back into parking spots a lot. When you pull up, you turn your flashers on to let people know you're doing something, and you back into the spot. In the U.S., they tell you to turn your blinker on for whichever direction you're going, but in Korea, you just turn the flashers on and throw it in reverse, and they know you're parking into a spot. So there's a whole like little mini traffic language around blinkers. Also, it's the park anywhere button. So and continue on. This guy's over here. He's pulling in to go to a restaurant or something. This guy's double parked.
We're just trying to get home.
We're just trying to get home. And yeah, here's this guy. Yeah, I'm just going to pull halfway onto the sidewalk.
And he's kind of there.
Now, sometimes there'll be like a little restaurant or something in these things like here, and they literally actually have a parking area. There'll be like 2 or 3 parking spots
But I don't think that's
on the sidewalk. So sometimes that's an actual thing. This guy's just, meh, I'm going to park here. So, looking at the phone, street zombies, people walking around with their face in their phone, not watching what they're doing.
And there are a lot of pedestrians here too, so you have to be super careful wherever you're going, that you're not gonna end up like hitting someone who wasn't maybe paying attention to what they were doing. Like even with the street signs, so say it's a red light on the direction that they were planning on, or it wasn't a walk symbol for them. Sometimes they'll just walk out in the middle of the road, so you do have to be super vigilant.
Because in Korea, pedestrians have the right of way, even if they're blatantly going at the wrong time. And the magic hand is a thing, if you've ever heard of that. People will just walk out and like put their hand up and expect you to come to an absolute screeching halt from 10 feet away because they walked out and put their hand up. It happens. Anyway, so this particular little intersection, we're coming up. I don't know if you can really see it from the vantage here in the video, but this hill is steep.
Very, very steep.
This is like a first gear hill. Now, mind you, we're in a diesel SUV.
You hear us coming.
Yeah, it's the whole. You can hear it
That's
coming.
wonderful. Do that again. Dogs are staring at you like, what's
The dogs
wrong
think
with
I've
them?
lost my mind. But this is not a quiet vehicle. You can hear it coming. And keep an eye on these people over here. Here we are, coming up the narrow little street. Got her face in her phone.
And she could have gotten clipped. Thank goodness she put. Oh, like he had enough room between there, but
Yeah, I was like this close to scratching paint with that car on the other side when she finally heard the car that was 2 feet away from her. I came almost to a stop and she still damn near walked into me. Zombies. People in wheelchairs. Adachi gives exactly 0 shits about what you're doing. You get out of his way, he's done his time. So, what do I got first here? Okay, so little electric wheelchair. He's got his little sign on the back of his
he's in the
wheelchair.
lane.
In the middle of a lane, just doing his thing.
I mean, he's not going very fast, but he's in a lane. I'm not going to give him grief.
So I zoomed up a little bit here so it didn't take all day, but here we are waiting and
See,
still going.
still going strong, man. And the car behind him.
So, this is a bridge. It's still kind of near our house, but coming from a different direction. And Yeah, we're pulled up, we're stopped. Some stuff coming up the hill. This was the weirdest thing I have seen in months. Little old man on his electric wheelchair, and some kid on one of those little electric scooters having a drag race up the bridge. I just, it's like, let's have a 10-mile-an-hour drag race.
Who do you think won? Because it looked like the wheelchair.
It
guy
looked
was
like
winning.
Grandpa was winning in his wheelchair.
He
honestly.
had it.
Nothing else. He had more traction. He had more wheels. So, lane management. Oh yes, lane management. Now we're getting into the things that I think if you saw this in the States, people would lose their minds. So, all right. Coming up to an intersection. Here we are. This so far perfectly normal. Red light, pulling up to the line. You stop. Nothing unusual here. And we're going to have here in a second this guy. Now see, he just turned his blinkers on. I'm about to do something stupid.
And I'm sorry.
Cuts in front of that car, parks in the pedestrian crosswalk. This is absolutely normal in Korea. You see it all the time. At least he turned on his blinkers and he let everybody know, yep, I'm doing something stupid. So now, we're going to speed up here for a second. This is what actually got funny about this. And should be coming up on the right here. This guy. I'm just going to cut in front of that guy and pull further into the intersection. Now, the guy who had already pulled in and cut off the car in front of me actually blew his horn at the other guy because he didn't have his blinkers on. He didn't say, I'm doing a stupid thing. He just went
and did a stupid thing.
So the guy who was already parked illegally in the intersection was mad at the other guy who was parked illegally in the intersection. You can't make this stuff up. All right, what's next? Red lights. Right on red. That's an international standard, well, for countries that drive on the right side of the road, right? Right? Watch this. So I'm zoomed in a little bit. But, oh, why am I pointing? You can't see where I'm pointing. Watch this section over here. There's a scooter coming through. Korean delivery scooters are hilarious.
Dangerous, more likely.
And red light. What's a red light?
To be fair, he at least got lucky.
He didn't even really look.
He didn't look, but he
Now,
got lucky.
To be fair, if he works in this area, he knows that this is five-way intersection. If traffic is coming from this direction or this direction, or technically if they're coming from, if this light has already gone and traffic is coming from this direction, he has a clear shot. If there's no traffic moving from this direction, he's got a clear shot to go right.
And more than likely, he does work in this area.
Oh,
and he
almost.
probably, yeah, definitely. He
That
knows
little
that.
yellow thing on the back of it, that's a delivery scooter.
Yeah, so
he knows the area.
He knows the area. So it's just kind of crazy when you see it because you're like, whoa, dude, really?
Now, this isn't even the best one I've seen. This is just one that I caught on the dash cam. I caught one the other day where the dude pulled up into the light and then turned left. He slowed down enough to look and see if there was traffic and went right on through.
Like, he got to deliver the food. And he wants to make sure it's... And to be fair, they deliver it hot. My food is hot when it gets here.
We will not give him too much crap.
Because he's probably been to our house.
We order food, and food gets here hot. Like, we've literally had pizza we ordered get here, and the cheese was still melted when it got here.
Yeah, it like almost feels like it just came out the oven 2 minutes ago.
Like, yeah, it was. This thing hadn't been on the delivery scooter more than 2 or 3 minutes. This dude was booking. So as long as he doesn't get himself killed en route.
My hope is that they're at least being safe, because I would hate to think that someone thinks that it's worth getting killed over to bring me pizza.
Honestly, I don't think it's that safe. Google Korean delivery accidents, and there are some horrific looking scooter accidents.
I don't want to Google that. I'll never order delivery again.
Anyway, on to the next one. U-turns. The U-turn. We're going to go right on red. This little guy right here. It's not going to look like it, but what he's doing is he's going right on red into this turn here, and then immediately turning left to come back through the intersection. It looks like he just made a 3-lane U-turn. It's technically 4 lanes because he went to the outside of the other lane. I'm not sure that's legal, but you see it. Anyway, but like I said, you see that fairly often. People making those, hey, I'm gonna pretend I'm going into this lane so that I can use that light U-turn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious but not unusual. Oh yes, so it's an intersection out near the SED. Now, to be honest, they did actually recently turn these lights on. But I've got about, what, 4 years in Korea total?
At least.
Yeah, this time around. So, counting previous trips, probably almost 5 now. But in the last 4 years that I've lived in this area, these lights either were not here or not active. They literally just turned them on like this week.
That's a couple weeks ago.
No. It was
just the,
well,
no,
a week ago. It was last Monday.
Last week.
It was last Monday they turned them on. But so you can see the traffic at this intersection. These guys are coming this direction, trying to either go straight or turn here. People coming from my direction are trying to turn one of these 2 directions. Traffic coming from this direction is either trying to turn this way or go straight that way. It is a hot mess. I think I've got it on 2x speed at the moment. Now, as you can see, all these people jamming up, not letting anybody through, because everybody's in a hurry and they don't want you to get in their way. I would like to make a special call out to this guy in this little green Matiz.
Yeah.
If you've never seen one, a Daewoo Matiz is a car roughly about the size of 3 shoeboxes put together.
He was awesome because he let us out.
And this dude stopped and held up a construction truck to let us turn because we'd been there for like 5 minutes. You are my hero for at least 15 minutes, green Daewoo Matiz, man. But, yeah, turning in the intersections like that can be a pain because nobody wants to let you
And
out.
the worst part is if you're nervous, like if you're anxious, you've got anxiety about driving, and you're like, I'm not going to turn until I know. Everybody behind you is now mad at you because you've held it up and you should have just gone.
Yeah, you've got to harness your inner Korean, your inner bali. Get out of my way and go. Anyway, the leapfrog right. This is one of my favorites. So I'm coming down this hill, 4-way intersection up here. Obviously, you can see there's a red light in our direction. Watch this guy. I'm just going to get in the oncoming traffic or oncoming lane and go around this guy for right on red.
Was in a little bit of a hurry.
All the time.
Yeah.
I see it all the time, at least 3 times a week. Now, is this...
Wait, isn't that also when we had our car accident? Isn't that actually what happened? The lady didn't want to wait?
Yeah, the lady behind us didn't want to wait for the cars to shuffle down and tried to go around us in the oncoming lane and somehow pulled in too early and ran into our driver's side door.
Yeah.
This was a few months ago.
It was last
Fortunately, recently there was a change in the Korean insurance laws so that now you can have 100% fault. They used to not have that.
Used to be your fault because you decided to drive that
So
day.
my ex-sister-in-law, for a fact, because I know this one, had gone somewhere, was parked in a parking spot on the side of the road with the car off, and she was in a store. Somebody drove around the roundabout and clipped her bumper, and she got 10% because she was on the road.
Because she was out that day. She decided
Yeah,
to
because she chose to drive, she was partially at fault. They have since changed it so that people doing stupid stuff can be charged 100% fault.
We were very fortunate that law had actually changed before that happened to us.
Because she just ran right into the driver's door of the car. Anyway, left turns. So, again, coming up to an intersection. Almost all of my things involve an intersection here. But you can see quite easily, here we go, big old red light right here. And we are obviously first in line because we just pulled up the line. And he doesn't care. And right through the pedestrians crossing the street over here. Zero damns given. Get out of my way.
Hey, he was just happy he didn't hit anyone.
Well, I was happy he didn't hit anyone. I didn't want to have to stay there and be a witness. First. Ah, yes, this one. This was one of the biggest Charlie Foxtrots I've seen on the road here in possibly ever. I can't even describe the level of screw up that's about to happen here. Fortunately, no one got hit. So, as you can see, there's a little bongo truck, little delivery truck. That's what they call them, bongo trucks here. It's a brand name. There's this SUV coming from this direction, and this guy is trying to turn left. No lights, no signs, anything. It's just at your own discretion. It's Beboho. It roughly translates to turn at your own risk or something like that. So he's coming through. He turns. This guy goes to pull out. This car doesn't want to wait, cuts him off. That one doesn't want to wait, cuts him off again. This one ducks in behind him and almost hits his bumper because he doesn't want to slow down.
We of course waited.
Yeah, I let them get out of my way. Nope, not getting into that.
Not gonna deal with that today.
Nope. But yeah, just that's that whole body thing. That's everybody's get out of my way. I'm in a hurry. And the bus. I have mentioned before that Korean buses, while they have gotten better, the first time I was here for an extended time back in like 2010, a Korean city bus, you did not get in their way. In fact, I'd even been told that they would push cars out of the way.
Oh, I've seen them push cars out of the way. Because remember, in the little intersection over here, if they're blocking the bus from being able to get through in the morning, he'll wait a few seconds, but then nobody's coming. He's just going to push that car out of his way.
But yeah, I mean, like get out and push or push it with the bus.
Pushed it with the bus.
Okay, well, there you go. But yeah, they would if cars were in the way because the bus is on a schedule. He's bali. He's in a hurry. So this one does not care about your red lights when he's on a schedule. So obviously, at the intersection again, here's the red light. Cars are going through. Now we got the green light. This guy, like, oh, no, hold on. Brrr. Screw your red light. I got a schedule to keep.
Now, to be fair, you don't know. Maybe he didn't have enough time to slow down for the red light.
He did. He's going uphill.
I'm trying to be fair.
I'm not. He just ran that light.
Okay.
He gave zero damns. He just ran that one.
Hey, he's driving a bus. He can do that. I can't in the car.
All right. So those are some demonstrations of some of the stuff that we see on a fairly regular basis driving in Korea. Now, to be fair, you get used to it.
And to be fair, you see some of that stuff in the States.
Like I said, you do occasionally see some of the things in this list in the States. My thing is the complete nonchalance with which it happens here.
I once in Colombia saw a multiple chain of like 4 of those little powered wheelchairs crossing the street on Harbison. It was crazy. I was like, are they really holding up traffic for this? They did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
So it does happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, double parking and
At least
parking on the
she was
sidewalk.
going somewhere.
I've seen that before, just living in the country because people just park wherever there's a place to park. But like I said, no individual thing on this list is, a moment in your life. But
We've probably seen a few, though.
when you take it all together, and we're in Pyeongtaek. This is not one of the big cities.
And honestly, other than the one where we were going uphill, you don't even get a real idea of how tiny these streets really are. It's barely enough room for 2 vehicles to go through, which is why when that person was staring at their phone, that was kind of an issue because we really couldn't go over any further either direction to not hit anyone.
Yeah.
So.
And the last time I went back to the States, I almost didn't know what to do driving because the road seemed so wide. I mean, you see these little city cars like that Daewoo Matiz that I pointed out and whatnot. The cars are literally they're like shoulder to shoulder, 2 people touching the doors on either side. The car is like 6.5 feet wide, maybe. And the roads are designed for that, or the cars are designed for the roads, one or the other.
And it also doesn't help that people do park in the street. So, like, right beside a building, you could be parking right there, and then that's half of your street now. So 2 cars trying to pass, that's not going to happen.
And in some of these, like these little roads in the areas we live on, sometimes they'll park on both sides of the street. So you literally have to drive right down the middle of the lane, and you're almost hitting cars on either side, and it's traffic going both ways. So people are like driving up and then pulling in the gaps between other cars so cars can come the other direction and they can pull back out. It's almost mind-boggling that it works, but Koreans are so used to it that it's.
I think it's why too. You see a lot of the smaller Matees and smaller cars, and you see a lot of people using scooters because it's just more convenient.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of driving in Korea for y'all. But let us know if you kind of like this sort of thing. If you like Korean,
if you want to see more,
if you like Korean traffic stuff, we'll start grabbing stuff off the dash cams, a little more regularly and
show you the fun.
And show you the fun, yeah. Anyway, that's it for us tonight. Like, subscribe, do the internet stuff. We'll see y'all around.